Well, welcome to Your Health Matters. And we're here to discuss your health challenges. My name is Judy Feldhausen, and we get to every month introduce you to absolutely the best experts that have methods to address all of your health challenges. Your holistic practitioners, we have such a wonderful guest today. And what we want to do is help you bring change to your life so you have options, so you can have health and wellness, especially in 2024. I want to welcome my guest today, Carolyn Purvey. And Caroline is, she's an amazing friend. You know that we have known each other for 3.5 years, Caroline. I was
Yep.
looking at things, and that's just amazing. So many great changes in my stress level in the last 3.5 years, and she's has been recognized for being the International Association of Top Professionals. She's dialing in from England. I can't wait to go out and actually meet her, but she helps people really discover well-being and better results from stress. And, Caroline, I understand that New Year's resolutions, actually 2 days ago was the stop of New Year resolutions, of people stopping their New Year's resolution and giving up. But you have a way to help handle that New Year's resolution of stress throughout the year. And can you just tell us a little bit about why that's so important, and a little bit about your program?
Well, Judy, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be your guest. And I'm really excited to join you because, the friendship that we have great conversations about all of these important topics. And health and well-being is the top of both of our agendas. So why is it important to be aware? We go through life and every day there's stress, overwhelm, and trauma hits us either because of something we're doing or because of somebody else. We don't always have control over it. But what we don't realize is that every stressful, overwhelming, traumatic experience we have has an imprint in our body and an impact on our physical, mental, emotional well-being. And that might not be immediate. Because if you think, and it's part of our terminology, as a stress bucket, we fill it. And all of those things we go through and our first traumas the day were born, that bucket fills. And then we start to notice that we are really getting out of balance. We might not join the dots on perhaps we've got back, hip, neck, shoulder pain, perhaps we've got gut problems, anxiety, panic attacks, or headaches, migraines. Maybe we just got head fog and we can't think straight. Maybe it's high blood pressure. Maybe there's that stroke scare, the heart attack scare. And they're all yellow cards. And what they're saying is your bucket's getting a bit full. And why is it important to empty it? Because the more full it gets, there is that stroke, there is that heart attack, and sadly, cancer and suicide. And I don't like that word. Nobody ever wants to take their own life. And, I'm being perfectly honest here because it's in my book anyway. But many years ago, when I was going through a struggle, I just wanted to end my pain. And there, by the grace of God, I'm here today. And I can talk about that without any emotion, without the feelings. Why? Because there's a wonderful tool that we all have, and that is on our bucket, we have a tap. And that tap is to thoughtfully activate the psoas. And the psoas, if you don't know it, PSOAS, is a big muscle, holds your upper body to lower body, behind all the organs. And every time from the day you're born and that startle response, you go through that tonic freeze. Now I've got to fight, flight, the adrenaline, cortisol's rushing in the body. It gets stuck in the body. But our process is about thoughtfully activating the psoas and releasing that tension. And It's something innate in everybody, and that's where my passion lies. Not to take away the great work that everybody's doing, whether that's massage or acupuncture or counseling or all the other nutrition, physical exercise, all those things that we all need and that help drive us forward. But it is a great compliment to heal from the inside as opposed from the outside.
Yeah, and you can't really exercise that muscle like you can your arms and your legs, right, Caroline?
Absolutely, you can't. But when your bucket's full and that muscle is tight, it prevents you from wanting to exercise. It prevents you from having the mobility and flexibility that you could have when the tension's gone.
That is so true. And so, what are some of your clients? Who are they? What kind of jobs do they have?
Well, that's a great question, Judy, because life treats individuals very differently. And therefore, the cause of their physical, mental, emotional imbalance can come from individual trauma, which can start at birth. But also, one might have a great life, but then they're in that job role. And I think, job role is really important. Whether we are the self employed entrepreneur running our own business or CEO of a large organization, there's work pressure. If one works in the service sector, and I do a lot of work with fire and rescue, police, military, they all work in, by its very nature, that kind of work, which is wonderful, but they take on that secondary trauma. And so they're taking on the trauma of other people. So that's a different impact, but still has the same impact on their physical, mental, emotional health. Working in the caring field, working as a therapist or a psychologist, talk counselor, all the time you're hearing other people's stressful stories. And I've heard a few in my time with our clients, and they're horrific what some people endure in their life. But in the real world, we're not very good at recognizing that in ourselves, that what we are experiencing is down to stress. It's a funny sort of word. I mean, in the US, it might be the same, it might be different, but over in the UK, the catchphrase is "I'm okay." But we don't know what's going on inside the body, and unless we stop and listen to it for ourselves, I know from working in the service sector, there's many running around with a painted smile. If that
Mm.
kind of sums it up, and that's how we are as human beings.
That's so true. So I have a cardiovascular device that measures stress, and we need some stress. I mean, to have our bodies grow, that's stress, right? So we need about 30 points of stress in our life. When I'm scanning people from all over the United States and in some places other countries, I tell you, they're way above 70. In fact, many of them are 100, and they say, but I don't feel stressed. Why is that?
And I come across that all the time. We get comfortable in our discomfort, and that's it. We don't recognize it. And the process that I empower, it's a tool that I empower clients with. I say it's the third missing piece of the jigsaw, because here's an example: breathing and our heart, two of the most powerful systems in our body. Most do not recognize the importance of looking after those systems unless something goes wrong. And then it's either they're incapacitated or it's game over. And releasing from the psoas is something that animals do, and it's innate in all of us. But I was talking to the owner of a garage next door to me, and he went on holiday, stopped work, and what happened? His heart played up. And I said to him, "Your stress bucket's a bit full, my friend. Oh, he said, I expect you want me to do your program. I said, I don't want you to do anything. I want you to think about it though, because you've had your yellow card. And he says, oh, I don't need it. I'll wait until the next time. And I created a great post on LinkedIn out of that because I said to him, why do I bring my car to your garage? I bring it as a prevention. I have it serviced because I don't want it to break down and create havoc in my life. So surely we should look at the inside of our body that we can't see as something that does need a service. And the only one that can service it from deep within is ourselves. And
That's
so we
so
have to
true.
take
That's
action.
so true. You know, Cecilia, who is listening us live here, just made a comment, and she says we get comfortable. Um, we get comfortable in our conflict,
Yeah.
and isn't that the truth?
Yeah. No, it's exactly right. And so we don't notice it. It's like if you clench your fist really tight and you hold it long enough, it'll start to tense and you'll feel it. But then you get used to that tension and then it gets more tense. And so you layer by layer, you're building that tension in the body because that's what we do, because we've got no release from it. And what's important, and you know this, we're all energy beings and energy gets blocked in our body. And this process of knowing what our own body can do releases that blocked energy. It's a great comment.
So then, how do we know when to use your program?
Well, that's the thing. We don't. I prefer prevention better than cure.
Mm, yes.
And again, I'll be honest. I would what I label now one of those tough buckets years ago. I'm okay. I get through everything. And it wasn't till I discovered what my body could do and started releasing that I realized what I was holding. Now, here's the thing, and anyone listening that looks after other people, or you're the person that other people turn to, you never show your emotion. And that is because, and I know for me, I could never show my emotion because I'm supposed to be helping them and they'd see me as weak. And yet, when I
Mm,
started releasing, I cried and cried and cried, and I realized it was all the tears that I'd held on to over the years. And that's why it's important.
mm. So that's so true. And for a lot of people, high stress comes out as anger or sleeplessness. Then it gets into disease. But I think that's one of the first evidence that we are stressed out is, you know, taking a look at ourselves and what we are doing and how we are being throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you're right. We worked in prison for 3.5 years. I worked with my son Daniel, right? And I always said, get me into prison. It's full of angry children. And I wasn't far wrong because when we worked with those inmates, they started to open up and share. And the stuff that went back to their childhood really was the root cause of their anger. And that is how they manifested it. Because why do people get angry? There's something going on, but they don't know what. And we can't talk about a problem that we don't know is the problem. What we have to do is get to the root cause. And the process we go through is part of that. But anger is very common, as is mood swings up and down. And when I listen to people saying, oh, I manage my anger, you've got the Pretorius released from prison and he's been on anger management. And when I see those kind of newsreels, it's like, but the anger's still in the body. And who knows, it will be a trigger of something at some point, as it always is. We all have a trigger. What's going to spark that lashing out? And that's why, unfortunately, especially in COVID, there was so much abuse going on with children and relationships because it's pent up and there's no release.
Hmm. So then how simple is it to release that anger, that stress?
I love that question. It is so simple you wouldn't believe. And yet, why do I have a 4 week program to educate people with it? Because it is the most powerful thing you will ever do. I always say I can get a 10-year-old to show you how to release. That's it. And if I had 1,000 people in front of me, they'd all learn the same technique, but they'd all be releasing in a different way. Why? Because each and every one of you is unique. You've all got your own history. And the fascinating thing is how the body chooses to let go of that is what your body chooses, which is why no two people are ever alike, which is why 13 years down the line, I open journals for my clients and I go, wow, that is incredible. I've not read that before. But then that is because that individual has let go of some of their history and that is how their body's responded.
Hmm.
Simple, practical, cost effective, powerful, and transformational.
Well, and you're totally right. I know for me, the first time I tried, I think my bucket was so full, I didn't know how to pick it up, right? I'm like, well, this doesn't work. Oh, well, try it again. And so it's made such a difference. There's such a calm and peacefulness that you can feel all the time, not just at certain times. And I know you have a yoga practice besides what that is, and still you do more than just yoga, right?
Yeah. A lot of my yoga, I've been teaching yoga for 30 years. I love it. I had a good teacher when I started and I was passionate and wanted to share it. So I got into the teaching and the training. All, the majority of my yoga students now have all done the practice. I've seen a difference in their physical body. And what I love now, if I have a class and I know they've all done it, I finish the class with a 5 minute release. And they all
Mm,
just get into position and release from their body, all doing something different. But yoga is probably, if you've read books like The Body Keeps a Score, the last chapter is about yoga. And it is one of the best things one can do. But if I have highly traumatized people come to yoga, it's very difficult to get them to focus on their breath. It's a slow process. But couple that with the releasing practice, which is a tool for life, and then miracles happen.
that's so true. I know Stavros who is watching us live, completely agrees with that. Yoga is a wonderful practice, and with the addition of your method, it's like the whole ball of wax,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And I mean, we love to collaborate. It's a great extra for yoga teachers to train as perhaps one of our facilitators. We have a community interest company for Release, Recover, Discover, a program, same, but different, that we work with professionals with because we have a higher course for 75 adults that do our basic program. We can teach a teacher in a school, give them a
Mm,
license, and empower them to teach the young people. Because it is the young people we should be very concerned about now because they have no tool. And what we don't want them to do is carry their childhood trauma into their adult life because that is what's happened to all of us. All
yeah,
of us have
yes.
got
And just
low
watching.
self-esteem, lack of confidence, no voice because it's come from childhood. And it might be that little thing that somebody said to us at play school when we were 3 and it stuck with us. And that's
Mm,
what happens.
so true. And I live in Chicago, so that no voice erupts here into violence. And some of the things that are going on currently in the United States, I don't know how it is in England, but um, I fear sometimes to go to certain places and to do certain things because of some of the things that have happened in those areas. The violence, it's just so sad, and it's now 12 and 13-year olds.
Oh, Judy, I was listening on the news yesterday. to a matron of an emergency unit in our hospitals that was talking about the knife crime and the number of teenagers and 11, 12, 13-year olds are getting stabbed, as well as 12, 13-year olds that are doing the stabbing. And it's not now, sadly to say, it's not areas, it's anywhere. It's so random, and it's an accumulation of that anger. And it's a flashpoint. And I'm sure if any of those, because I've worked with them in prison, when they start releasing, the truth comes up, the truth comes out,
Mm.
and they recognize what happened to them in their early years, and they recognize their own crimes, and the remorse is, and the change. That is, for me, that was the most wonderful experience, seeing those inside serving their time, really nice people.
So there's really no age specific, right?
No,
No age limit. The elderly and even young children who are going through life, they're growing through
yeah,
it.
my process is I work with parents when they're doing the program. I gift them the program for their child, and if their child is traumatized, that child will go with it. And that child, without the education, all the education that the adult needs, they just do it, and they know, they can't put words to it, but they know they feel better. And I've got some wonderful stories from parents that have said, this is what my lad did. This is, and when you've got a mum saying, oh, Bobby said, Mummy, can I do Caroline's shaking thing because my tummy hurts?
Mm.
And they feel the gut problems that come with it, and it causes digestion problems. But it's innate in every human being, which is why it's very difficult. When I get asked in a business group, who's your niche? Well, would you like niche by job? Would you like niche by condition? And I'm working Parkinson's, wonderful result with Parkinson's. And when a lady came to yoga and said she got Parkinson's, she was told to do yoga. And I said, forget that, you need to do my program. She did both. And, the little tests that she had to do were so improved within 2 weeks. And she never even got to tell her children she'd got Parkinson's, even though when I met her, she was shaking.
Mm.
And I'm feel very honoured right now to be working with somebody that's got motor neurons. She's been doing it virtually every other day, every 2 or 3 days. I said, do it as often as you like because your time is limited. That sounds awful, doesn't it? But motor neurons is a death sentence. That lady has not worsened in her condition over the 4 months. So we're
Wow.
watching that one very closely. And I said to her, you weren't born with it, right? This is your nervous system breaking down. This resets the nervous system, it rebalances us. So I said, it's one fighting against the other. Which one's going to win? It's like that tale of two wolves, isn't it? Which I'm
So
sure.
what I'm hearing from you is there's hope, right? And it's a simple solution. It's not overly time consuming. It won't take over your life, but the stress will be relieved from your life.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, if we haven't got an hour a week to give ourselves, and if one chooses to go and have a massage instead of massaging from the inside, and yet they've been going for a massage every week, right? The time taken to book the appointment, the time taken to get there, waiting around, and then all that drive back. 30 minutes once you've gone through the education, the 4 module program, you're on the floor once a week, 30 minutes, and it's like a big cloud lifting. But it's not a big cloud lifting and then coming back. It's another cloud. Every time another cloud gets lifted. And for me, it's like I will do this till the day I die because I feel very privileged that it found me. I didn't look for anything. And thanks to everybody that I have ever worked with, I have learned so much. And that's where my actual learning has come from and created an expertise that I'm proud to say I have. And I never stop learning. I'm learning off every client every day.
That is so great. And 13 years. And I understand you got some good news this week.
Oh, Judith, I'm so excited. You know, careful what you wish for. I put something out a few years ago, and it was late August, early September. I had the most amazing email to tell me that I had been nominated for an honorary doctorate with Azteca University International. Came right out of the blue. And on Sunday, I received my official certification. For me, nothing is real until it's in my hands. And, to read, it was emotional. I did put a post up announcing that only this morning, I think. Um, and I put it on Facebook, and I can't believe when I looked this morning, there's over 90 people that have taken the time to comment because I do persevere and I will persevere with passion because it's like I want to give another choice. And now with that honorary doctorate in natural medicine, it feels like I don't know how anybody found me or decided that I was a worthy candidate. But as I say in my, little video I did, 13 years of dedicating my life to this, writing my book, um, getting my data validated that is very positive with the results. I feel I've done a doctorate.
And
So,
now we're going to address you as Dr. Purvey.
well, I'm not one of those that's going to go around. I could have put Dr. Purvey in front of my name. Look, it's at the end of my name. I'm not sure on the protocols of honorary doctorate, but I am inquiring to see what am I going to do to nudge that into a PhD.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. So, is there a way that people can connect with you? I know I'm going to put a link in the LinkedIn site and on the YouTube video, but do you have an email? Do you have anything that people can talk with you?
No, absolutely. You only have to Google me and you'll find me and my contact details. But my website is treuk.com and my email is Caroline at that's Tommy Romeo Echo, uni, uniform kilo, that's the one, .com.
That's
And if you
awesome.
find my phone number, give me a call. I'm happy to talk to groups, to individuals, because I get this is a bit strange. I want to know more.
Mm, that inquiring mind.
Be
That
curious.
yes,
And I
be
know
curious.
I do know just quickly, I we're probably running out of time, but I could talk for ages. But um, I do know that the very thought of the body healing and releasing conjures up fear. But here's the ironic thing this big muscle that I talk about, it's where we hold our fears and emotions. It impacts our breathing because it's constantly pulling us inwards. And so, therefore, you would have the fears. But I do know from my years of experience that the body's innate intelligence knows how to treat you gently every session you do. It has to bring up what it has to bring up, but it doesn't happen at once. And you kind of get used. And I say to people, instead of being afraid, why don't you look at it with excitement and say, what is my body going to say to me today? What is it going to let go of?
Well, so true. And I believe in your program so much that I became an affiliate so that I can help the people in my life, both locally and internationally, to help them learn how to work with the SOAS and the simple things that you help people with every day. So I want to thank you, Caroline, for being a guest here. We have so many comments um, about what you're doing and how you're helping people. I think that is absolutely wonderful. Thanks again for coming. This is Judy. Our program is Your Health Matters, and we address all different kinds of health issues. I just want to remind everybody that there is a perfect day to take care of your health, and it's today.
I love that quote, Judy. A year ago, a year from now, you'll wish you started today.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining. You'll see us on YouTube, so watch for the video. Bye bye.